What interests you about product management?
I was completely clueless. I didn't even know that there is a role called product management which existed.
How many interviews did you have to go through before cracking your first product role?
According to me, this may not be a popular opinion, but HR is in the last rounds, right? So I have been there, and I've also seen many of my colleagues who are like who clear these parts clearly, and in the end, they are like, okay, now in the last round, they just mess up.
Thank you all for joining in. We will make sure that you have a very fun and banter chat with us because today we have our own fellows joining us, Atharv and Kuldeep. Hello, Kuldeep. Hi, Atharv.
Hey everyone, I am Athas. I am from Thane, Maharashtra, and currently I am pursuing BTech in Mechanical Engineering at IIT. Yeah, I've also been a part of the Next Leap, and I was the top fellow of the October month.
Kuldeep,
Yeah. Hey
stage is
guys,
yours.
first of all, I would like to thank Nextly for this opportunity. Exactly last year, right at the same time, I was there in Product Management Fellowship Cohort 13. I was doing my week
Hmm.
3 assignments, and it's so good to be back as a fellowship now on the other side. So I'm Kuldeep Malla. I hail from the city of Destiny, Vishakhapatnam. So I've done BTech in Mechanical Engineering, graduated in the year 2021. Since then, I've been working in Accenture as a quality engineer analyst closely with Microsoft projects. From January first week, I'll be starting as APM in KFin Technologies.
So, how excited are you? Like, you're starting your APM journey.
Excited, equally nervous as well because this would be my first product role.
Hmm.
So equally really looking forward to it to apply all my learnings and which I've learned through Next Leap as well as all this through this 1 year long journey, right from
Hmm.
last year December till now. So yeah,
Hmm.
really looking forward to it.
Got it. Got it. So, just help me understand. Like, now you had been an engineer. Now you wanted to. Now you're starting your journey in product. So, like, what interests you about product management? At core, why did you thought of taking product?
To be honest, 1.5 year back, if would have asked me, do you know what is product management or what is product management as a role? I was completely clueless. I didn't even know that there is a role called product management which existed because I come from a tier two college and coming from a mechanical engineering background, which has hardly got anything to do with IT or systems or any of these applications. So I come from a core background. So when I was working with Microsoft closely, in one of the client calls, I've interacted with a product manager who was working in Microsoft from US. So that's when I got to know that there is this role called product manager, which works closely with all the teams, which works on user problems, addressing their pain points and developing, coming up with features, not just for the sake of coming up with features, but which addresses a problem. So that's how I've got to know about product management. To be honest, why, if you would ask me what really made you plunge into this journey is, I've been working on the same project for last 2.5 years. More or less, it has been like monotonous after a point of time. I could hardly see anything learning in it. But whereas
Hmm. Hmm.
coming to
Hmm.
this product manager as a role, there is this constantly you need to keep yourself updated, very much open to learnings.
Hmm.
Like this role always expects you to learn and be on
Yeah. Yeah.
top of your knees toes.
Very interesting, Kuldeep. Like last year, New Year, you thought of becoming a product manager. Now, this 2024, you're starting a year with an offer to be a product manager. So exciting year. Athar, what interests you about product?
Yeah, so my journey was like just after I gave the entrance and I joined the IIT. Then I came across an edtech startup from named Exploring. It was actually founded by our alumni.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what they used to do was they used to help students explore these fields like web development, data science, product management, etc. So
Hmm.
in the beginning, I didn't have much knowledge about various fields, so I was like, "Ki, let's do finance." And like by finance, everyone thinks that it's stock market and that stuff. And after a point, I realized that maybe I'm not interested in this stuff. And
Hmm.
as it was an early stage startup, in early stage startup, there are no like clear roles defined, right? So I used to do other things also. I used to also do like a bit of customer onboarding thing was also also did that thing. Yeah, I like talking to customers and understand their needs basically. Like what are the
Hmm.
problems they are facing, and I like to think on that how could I help them. From there, I came to know about product management, and
Hmm.
again after that it was like there is no proper, to be honest, there is no proper course on free courses like let's say there are like web development or software development, there are courses on YouTube that okay you do these things and we are good to go. So there wasn't any
Hmm.
proper course for on YouTube as per se for product management. So I was like just
Hmm.
wandering on internet researching, and
Hmm.
yeah, after that one of my seniors basically she's a senior who urged me that there's this course of next leap so you should try it out. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. And yeah,
Hmm.
so this way I came into the product management world. Yes.
Hmm. 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 Got it. Got it. Very interesting. So overall, Kuldeep, to you the question, right? How many interviews did you have to go through before cracking your first product role?
So before talking about the number of interview rounds I've given or number of companies which have approached me, I just want to give a context. Since from month of March to till the month of October, I've applied for multiple companies, numerous companies. I was applying it through Nextleap. I didn't leave any opportunity which is through Nextleap. At the same time, in the initial few months, I couldn't even clear the first round of interview also. I still remember there was this instant moment where I've cleared my peer interview, I've given my peer interview, mock interview, and in third round of interview, Arindam was taking my interview, and I
Hmm.
didn't even know I was prepared, and Arindam has asked me a product design question, and I just went blank. I couldn't utter anything, so I couldn't even jot down points or how do you approach this question. I couldn't even come up with it. So slowly, I've realized that practicing mock interviews is equally important. And since then, I've applied from multiple companies, but barely considering the market reality, there were hardly any companies which would come back or revert back to me after pushing the application. And I would ask for referrals as well. So in the month of September, I got a first call from a company called Traction, company which works on business
B2B
intelligence.
SaaS company. Yeah.
Yes. So in that company, I've got the call. In that, I've cleared 3 rounds of interview. In the fourth round of interview, that too after an HR round, my application was rejected. So after the HR round, till then I've given 4 rounds of interviews, and after that, very recently, last month, I've given K FinTech. I've given 3 rounds of interviews to K FinTech, including the HR round, and that's when I could finally make it.
Athar, same question to you.
Yeah. So I guess being in an IIT, there was a bit of advantage to me. But again, I applied to various companies through LinkedIn and other stuff. But the conversion ratio is too small. Like if you send to 100 companies, then maybe one or two would revert back. One of my friends suggested me the strategy that every day before sleeping, you could just do this with thing. Before sleeping, you just apply to 50 companies, and this way. And again, these were I couldn't clear them to be honest, clearly, because again I wasn't having maybe the skills, and this was simultaneously I was doing it with the on-campus internship season in a campus. After a while, the JSW group came to a campus, and I applied there, and again this after the interview round, and I was selected for that.
Okay, thank you so much. Cool. Let's move on to our next question, which is also interesting. So, from your experience, what skills do companies look for in these interviews? And what are they like kind of expecting from candidates?
So I guess the major thing they ask is structured problem solving. Like you need to be as critically structured as possible, I think, because as an entry level product manager, they don't expect you to know all the answers and maybe not also all the knowledge. If you have the knowledge about the field, it's good. You have the brownie points, but if you don't, it's all right. But you need to have the structure because the interviewers, according to me, think is this person may not have the knowledge right now, but if he has a structure, then we will provide him with the knowledge and the various things. and he would just find a way to do all the right things. And also, I think one of the things they also think in the interviews, specifically in product design questions, is like they like to see out of the box or unconventional solutions. Like in product design, there you also have to brainstorm the solutions. So it isn't necessary that you think only of the conventional solutions. The more you think out of the box solutions, and which are maybe a bit of illogical also would do, but yeah, they also look at your creativity.
Awesome. Great. Kuldeep, over to you.
Yeah, as like Atava has already answered it accurately, and I just wanted to add to it. In this product management interviews, or especially, there's nothing as wrong or right way. So it is all about the approach you have to it, your approach towards the problem solving or the question. So if I would ask, like, I was applying for entry level APM roles, so I have no prior product experience or any hands-on experience on as a product manager. So all the experience I have accumulated is only through giving multiple mock interviews. Over a period of time, once you start giving these mock interviews, you get to develop the clarity of thought. How would you approach the problem? Or so, if you would ask me, firstly, they would be more than your background. I have seen people who have studied law could make it to a product manager. Came from a BA background have made it to a made it as a product manager. So it is always about how empathetic or how focused are you on the user in the middle, and your approach, your problem solving skills, and the clarity of thought. So, and at the same time, considering that I have no prior product experience, what I always did is I was a bit proactive in the interview, trying to keep a conversation with the recruiter, showing that I am enthusiastic to learn, considering my background.
Okay,
Cool.
interesting.
If I recall, like my time also, right? I have also had to go through a lot of interview rounds. So, what are the different kinds of interview rounds you faced in your entire journey of breaking from an engineer to product?
Whereas coming to K FinTech, first I had a take-home assignment. I was given an assignment. First two rounds were I was asked with a general introduction of tell me about yourself, what did you do, and the third round was the HR. The mostly questions which I was asked were RCA's guesstimates and product design questions. And the other question which frequently I had in the both Traction and KFin is what is your favorite product? What is your favorite product is also one of those frequent questions because it has the potential to take off in two different tangents. It can even be a product design question, how and product design and product improvement question as well. In my case, it was Healthify Me because I go to gym, or how it really helped me on my transformation journey. So once you try making it as personal and passionate you are, so it gives you an edge that it conveys to the recruiter that yeah, this guy seems to be a really interested in his story and the work or the approach. When I told them that Healthify Me app was my favorite product,
Yes.
firstly be ready, ask a bit of clarifying question that is it a physical product or a digital, like an application or what, just so that you start off on a clear page, and mention them why is this, out of all the products which you use on a daily basis, WhatsApp, Instagram, or social networking, or whatever apps you use on frequent basis, why Healthify Me, why is it a really a standout? So emphasize on why. And after that, I was asked how would you improve that Healthify Me app.
Hmm.
So when they ask an improvement question, try asking them a counter question like, you want me to improve it on user acquisition, engagement, or monetization? On which aspect do you want me to work on? So once you get clear, or it's up to you and how you want to improve it. So I've just presented that I go to gym on a daily basis. I go to gym daily, and while doing the workouts, this part I couldn't find this is my pain point, and I couldn't find the solution in Healthify Me app. Adding an AI correction, posture correction feature would really help me while lifting weights. So, so this is how you could start with a why, and how would you improve it over a period. When I started giving mock interviews also while practicing, I've realized, while upon interacting with plenty people, number of people, realized that I'm applying for an entry level product manager role. So more like, so though there are technical product management questions or metric based product management questions, I've more focused my preparation also on RCS, guesstimates, and product design. So yeah, overall these were the rounds which I had to give before making it to KFIN.
Okay, Athar,
Mm.
over to you.
Yeah, so I would go just with Kuldeep only, but yeah, I would like divide it in two parts. I think these are like analytical type and creativity type. So RCS and guesstimates would be the analytical type, that you have to just ask the interviewer about the details, and he would extract the details from him and analyze the solution, analyze the data points, and just go through it. These are the first type. Second type, again, the product design questions, where you have to uh, go everything by yourself, and in the end you have to just brainstorm the solution. Majorly I just divided into two. RC and questionnaires would be the analytical type, product design, product strategy, improve the product would be the other. And also, according to me, this may not be a popular opinion, but I have seen that according to me, HR is also quite important. HR is in the last rounds, right? So I have been there, and I've also seen many of my colleagues who are like who clear these parts clearly, and in the end they are like they just mess up. But yeah, in the HR interview question, I would like to say that it's more of like showing who you really are, other than your career, and that. So
I
yeah, I
guess
would like.
what what you mentioned, I would definitely agree with you because once you get into your PM job, right?
Mm,
Your stakeholders are not just your designers, your
mm,
engineers, right? Your stakeholders are everyone, like your sales team, your customer support team, your HRs. Like let's say whoever you're building product for, they all are your
mm,
stakeholders. So having those soft skills are very important for a PM because uh, every time you'll get requirements, something will come up. So having that soft skill
mm,
will help us grow in our career. So and will make you a better PM. We should consider having good conversations with people who we are interviewing, right? So it's very
Yeah.
important. Good point.
yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
mostly these
actually.
HR rounds are more for culture fit. Like they just want to
Mm,
know if you're like going to gel good with the team, because the PM role is actually all about talking to your team members and getting things done, right? And also talking to to the customers a lot. Like
mm,
I know that Parvez talks to more learners than I do. And whenever I'm stuck with, okay, now I need someone who has this kind of experience, do you have you spoken to someone? And he's my go-to person in the team because he has done it, because he's built the product and he helps us keep us, like keep the learning intact. So
yeah.
Kuldeep, can you just like throw some light on what kind of take home assignments did you have to do for like different roles, or just one company asked you to do it? Yeah.
So I was asked in Traction. I was given in a take home in the take home assignment itself. I was given two case studies.
Okay.
One of them was I was asked to design a user manual for Google search page, for homepage, Google homepage. Assume that the user is coming to Google homepage for the first time, and clearly come up with a user manual, user guide to guide the users who are coming to the platform for the first time. So that is one of the cases which I was given. And the second was design a website which is as a career portal for a product company where so they have laid down the entire user flow on the career portal. So and they have highlighted three to four phases in that user flow, and they've specifically asked in those phases how would you design that website. So I've clearly designed the mock-ups and I've presented the mock-ups, and I've even given why did I place this particular thing over there. For instance, the error message, why did I place the error message in that particular way?
Sure.
So, and I would even, though I've given a take-home assignment and only in one company,
Yeah.
considering the take-home assignment is your first round of filtering process, it is very crucial, and you can even leave from some breadcrumbs because the second round of interview would be also majorly dependent on the take home assignment. Take it very seriously, because if you're taking that, that is the first impression which you would be giving to the recruiting team. So yeah, so these were the two questions I was asked in the take
Sure.
home assignment.
Cool. Thanks. Athar, did you ever face a take-home assignment
Uh,
question or no?
Actually, not yet, but I have a
Okay.
basic idea about it.
Okay.
Like basically, I have colleagues who have been given that.
Okay.
There
Okay.
were, I guess, two companies. One of them was Dash Tool. I guess it is an
Okay.
electronic, like comic app company. It
Sure.
was to basically, it was to do a product teardown. So it was a basic one. And another one was for Flipkart, and it was actually quite vague. And Flipkart, it was basically like, assume you're in 2030
Okay.
and you have to choose a problem that the the problem at that point of time in 2030 there what problem would be there and how would you solve it. So sometimes they keep this take home assignment quite vague so that you have to structure down it all by yourself. So I think as Kuldeep said, it is a very good way to show your structured thought process. And also in these kind of cases, I think it is better if you are just an entry level man, if you are just applying for the first time, because
Got it. Hmm.
they just see your performance and how structured your thought process is, and
Yeah.
not about what is your background and how much experience do you have.
Sure.
So yeah.
And
Thanks.
I just wanted to add something
Yeah.
to it, Kansha.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So uh, generally take home assignments, try doing it as like keep as less slides as possible and try delivering
Hmm.
bigger impact to keep it very short and clearly communicate what are you designing, because though the project or the role which you're applying for is very important to you, but still recruiting team might lose interest in you if you're coming up with a 20 page or 21 page long presentation on how addressing the problem statement. And as well as though legitly traction was my first take home assignment. Before I've even I don't want to take a name, but there are few instances where I've heard from few people would give you take home assignments and after submitting it they would just ghost you. So don't get demoralized. This is very common. People would just wouldn't even respond to you, but this is part of the process, so get ready for it.
Thanks. Thank you
Is
so
what I
much
Yeah.
will say
for
from
sharing
it.
that, Kuldeep. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to understand from the both of you that how did you prepare for these interviews and what kind of resources did you find useful?
Firstly, yeah, I guess in the fellowship itself, there were like sessions on every Sunday, 2 hour sessions of the interview preparation mentors. So it helped a lot in understanding the different kinds of questions.
Sure.
Also, it was a great thing that they used to provide the presentation PPT afterwards. So it was like just before the interview, I could just do a quick revision of the various types of interview questions. And other than that, I guess there are few books. I guess one of them is Cracking the PM Interview, and also product management interview. I don't exactly remember the name.
Sure.
These are some books,
Oh,
and I guess one of there's a YouTube channel Exponent for interviews, and I liked it to be honest quite a lot because what they do is they call the product managers of Google or Microsoft or Meta, and they just do a mock interview with them, so you could
oh,
just understand how to go about it.
sure.
And yeah, I guess these were mostly.
Okay. Awesome. And how many peer mocks did you do?
On the portal, actually, I did only 2 to 3, but
Okay.
with friends, we used to sit in group of 4, and we used to just group 2, and like I would give it to him, he would give it to me the interview, then we switch and like that. So I guess maybe 10 to
Yeah,
10
that's
out
great.
of.
Actually, I was not asking about the portal at all. I was just
Okay.
wanting to know how much practice you had to do before actually going for the interview and all of that. So yeah, Kuldeep, over to you.
Yeah.
You can let
So
us.
for me, in the initial stages, the as Atav mentioned, we used to have these mentor rounds in the weekends, right?
Yeah.
So those were really helpful because clearly the mentors were very senior product managers or we've been working for a few years,
Yeah.
and they were used to clearly lay out the how the approach towards that problem. As
Yeah.
I've told earlier, the approach is what all they look for initially.
Sure.
So that's where I've initially picked up from that approach part. How do you tackle with the problem statement initially?
Yes.
And as Arthur told, Exponent is a great place to find interviews. You have great seasoned product managers who've been working in the FANG and all these companies who've been working for a long time. So each, I use it to make a list of, copy the links, a few favorite interviews, which I use it to refer before each and every interview. And RCAs, guesstimates and product design, I use it to collect all these links at one single place
Okay.
and or make a list of it. And
Sure.
other resource which really helped me was peer to mock interviews really play a very crucial role in your entire
Mm.
process. So you might not be getting any calls from the companies because you never know, from out of nowhere you might be getting a call from the company which you have applied a few weeks back or 1 month back. So be prepared for it. So how do you be prepared for it? As by giving a couple of mock interviews. And there is this portal called Stella Peers. So what you do in Stella Peers is I had a very limited circle and I didn't have any of this culture in my college. And by then I've been already 1.5 years since I've graduated from my college.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any peers who were preparing for this role. So through Stella Peers, you could prepare, give mock interviews, or take you could take their mock interview, and after your turn they would take your mock interview. So you could do it with people who are aspiring to be product managers or who are already product managers, so across the globe. So you could just schedule a call with them, and Stellar PS is one platform which really helped me, and
Oh, okay.
even next three processes were equally helpful to me.
Okay,
Mm.
cool, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, you make it really sound like really easy, but I'm sure that when you started and preparing for the interview, it was not a cakewalk at all, right?
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to understand what are these few tips that you have now for yourself that make you better at giving an interview?
I think the major thing is taking time to think actually,
Oh,
because in initial stage I was like, just after 5 seconds I would just panic. Like I would ask them for time to just structure my thoughts, and I was like, okay, it's 5 seconds. Maybe I should talk. Maybe I should just tell them. Like rushing into the uh, solution. I think taking time is all right, and maybe sometimes thoughts come to your mind quickly, but also if you take, I guess 15-20 seconds at least to phrase it in a manner which would convey in the best possible way to
okay.
the interviewer.
Understood.
And majorly that was it. And also in the first 1 or 2 interviews, maybe in the online or offline, I gave only on the online mode, but also in the offline, I would suggest that if someone is going, you should carry a pen and paper with you to note down the data points, because when sometimes we ask clarifying questions and then you just don't use it anywhere. So there's no point in that. And the interviewer, he is smart, like he'll pick on that he asked these questions, but he didn't use it. So maybe he just asked it for the sake of asking it and not. So it's important to note down the points, data points he gives.
Yeah.
I guess
Like
we should note
Akansha,
down
just to add like what Atharv has mentioned, right? I have also seen uh, this thing also very helpful, right? When let's say you're giving an interview, or let's say you are discussing or brainstorming with your peers also, which you will do as a PM a lot, right? So that time, if you structure that discussion, right? If you're leading the discussion, it's very helpful in a way that if you share your screen and get on a tool like Whimsical or Excalidraw or FigJam, whatever, right? And pick up any brainstorming tool and just note down whatever the discussion is going on. Let's say the data points that has been mentioned. So this way, the interviewer will also feel that he's also involved in the discussion. It won't feel like it is an interview. It will feel like, okay, we both are having a discussion. We are brainstorming together. So try to share your screen whenever you go to an interview. Whatever the other side guy, a girl, whatever they're mentioning, just note it down and share your screen and make sure that you involve them in the discussion
it.
so that it looks like a conversation, not like you are just blabbering
Yeah.
and he's just sitting there and listening.
Yeah. And plus it
Sorry.
gives you like plus points as well, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the interviewer also feels that you're in hold of the interview. So that's also really important.
Yeah.
Okay, Kuldeep,
So
did
yeah,
you
Atharv and Parvez have already
already
addressed
answered?
the
Okay.
elephant in the room, but I just wanted to add to it, as Atharv told, how much ever straightforward the question is, never jump to the conclusion. Take your time. I get it. In the initial rounds of interview, in the initial days of my preparation, there like I used to take 4 to 5 minutes in the moment they've asked me the question till I answer back. So there's some tension building up between the recruiter and you because there's complete silence in the
Hmm.
room. But I would say ask them for some time. Clearly mention that I'm gonna need some time. And in the middle, as Parvez told, keep it two-sided. Keep it as conversational as possible. Walk them through your entire process. Lay down what is the approach you're planning to do after 3 minutes of taking your time. Like just say that yeah, this is the question, and I'm planning to approach this question in so and so way. And at the same time, in the end, try summarizing your entire
Yeah.
conversation of 15 minutes or how much ever time of the solution you've presented. Summarize it and try taking strategical pauses whenever you need in the middle. So just so that you could recollect yourself, be sane. It's totally fine. People would be just request them, ask them for some more time, and at the same time, initially the moment after 3 minutes or you've laid down your approach, again ask them, confirm with them, is this the question you've asked me? So just reiterate the question, just confirm with them so that you don't take the question in a different tangent with what they are asking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and even be mentally prepared that your first few, at least 10 to 15 mock interviews are gonna be worst. They are gonna be very bad. Be mentally prepared for it because that's the mistake I have done. I used to hesitate initially to give a mock interview because I've given a couple of 3 to 4 mock interviews and I was like, this is going very bad. I don't want to embarrass myself. So so be prepared for it, and it's part of the process.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Like I had learned this somewhere that embarrassment is the entry point for learning. So
Yeah.
And especially for product management, you need to have some thick skin, I guess. You need to be ready for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Actually, Sitaram has a question for you, Kuldeep. With previous IT experience, did you find companies or recruiters preferring you for technical PM roles?
No, in a way, I would say no. It having previous IT background didn't favor me much from my personal experience. It could be completely different for others because that too, I was from mechanical engineering background. How much ever you deny, your college has a part, but don't get discouraged. That's totally fine. So college, and I'm coming from a mechanical engineering background, and I was working in a testing role, and I wasn't into developing or any. I was into a 2.5 years of my experience in Accenture was as a tester, as I was working in accessibility testing with Microsoft team. So it didn't favor me much, but my experiences I had in Accenture did really help me with presenting or telling my story, like how I used to work closely with different stakeholders of Microsoft. So at the end, it's all about how good you are in narrating your own story or selling yourself. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. All right.
Just to add on what Kuldeep has mentioned, Akansha,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Hmm.
there's no doubt that college plays a very important role. But you also has to realize that college, having a good tier 1 college or having an MBA, it will just help you get the entry in the door. But
true, very
after
true.
that, it has nothing to do with that. It's all your skills, it's all your structured thinking, and the way you portray your skills. So getting that door, entry in the door, I agree it's a bit difficult, right? But it doesn't mean that you should go after it and focus on, okay, I don't have an MBA, I'm not from a good college, I don't have an, should I go and pursue MBA and come back to product? No, you can. What you can do is you can just start building products by yourself. Like just pick up any no code tool, uh, pick up software, Notion or anyone. Just start building products. You will understand product building, and that that way you will start building your portfolio, right? So once you start building your portfolio, that start speaking for yourself. And one more thing that personally helped me is writing about your journey on LinkedIn, right? So once you start writing, okay, this is the product I have built, this was the problem I realized, and this was the thing I have realized, and this is what I have built. So you'll get feedback, people will see that you're working. So we have really great stories coming out of Next Leap's Learn in Public challenge. A lot of people got hired, and I was also one of them, just because of writing on LinkedIn. So if you want to become a, if you want to get entry, these are some ways you can do. You can build your portfolio. You can start building using no code tools and start writing on LinkedIn. So this way you can, build your own ways of getting an entry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't go ahead.
No. So I hope it answers your question, and I hope
All I would say
your
is be
college.
ready whenever there's an opportunity knocking your door.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's great. Cool. Also, I wanted to know from you guys, like, there's some of these interviews have like a lot of common questions, right? Like, of course, come on, RCA and guesstimates is not something that is that common, but like one of the questions that I really like hate answering in all interviews is tell me something about yourself, right? That's the first question that everyone asks. So, are these like, did you also have like some of these questions that were constantly asked to you?
Majorly, these type of HR questions, I have prepared like tell me about yourself was basically for me it was like to explain my resume in quick, I guess 1 minute or 2 minutes, and that's so. And
Sure.
talking about other, I actually what I did was I just googled 30 most common HR questions, and I just like took my phone and gave it to my friends, and I was like, okay, you now ask, and I will improvise on the spot. So this also helped me in the other questions also, like also in the maybe unconventional the guesstimates and other questions. But
Yes.
yeah, I think improvisation is also an important part. So I did it this way. The
Oh,
method may
nice.
vary for others. Yeah.
Yeah, nice strategy. I like that strategy as well. Kuldeep, did you?
yeah, as Akanksha and Atav told, tell me about yourself is the first question we get to be asked right away in the first few minutes of your interview. I try being as genuine and honest to your experience. Try representing it, but at the same time, it is all about how are your previous experiences, whether you're fresher or worked with a coming up with a 2 years or whatever years of experience. It's all about how was your previous experience is gonna help you as a product manager in the upcoming opportunity which you have. So it's okay coming up with tweak it, and but try being as confident as you can while telling your story. At the end, tell me about yourself is nothing but your story of you had so far and what really intrigued you to coming towards product management.
All right, interesting. Thank you so much. I know you already talked about how long the interview process took for you guys, but just to reiterate, so just let me know how many rounds or did you give for every like company that you interviewed for, and what was like the time gap between each interview? Like, because if there are 4 interviews, they're not typically going to happen in the same week, right? They happen in like different time zones. And then how did you like manage to calm yourself? Because I remember if I used to be in touch with the recruiter a lot, like whoever was my recruiter or the HR person I was in touch with, I used to keep following up with them, and following up with them as in not every day. I used to like take my time, like, okay, let me give her or him like 4 days, and then I'll just put in a question that, hey, do you have an update for me? And though I used to like have nervous energy while typing that message also, because I was like, oh my god, what if it's a no and I don't want that answer? So yeah, I just wanted to understand from you guys that what was like your typical in between interviews when we were interviewing for different companies? What was like the time gap and everything?
So there's no fixed what could be the duration between each round. It is directly like it is very much dependent on how desperate is the company trying to fill in that position. How early do they want a candidate to fill in that position and start working? And on an average, there could it could be easily 3 to 5 days between each round on an average. This might uh, totally vary from round to round, from company to company as well. So, as Akanksha told, follow ups are very important. You might think that I've done my part, I've given my interview, and I've done my part from my side, and it's up to the recruiter to come back and give a response. But no, you need not do a daily follow, but whenever once in 2 days or 3 days, just ask them politely on a politely that, hey, I've given my interview, do you want to just by when can I expect the next round of interview, or can I have a feedback on that round of interview? So it is very much dependent on how early do they want to fill that position. And as well, so be it could be very nervous because I still remember yeah, traction was very crucial to me because I finally got a call after despite after applying for hundreds of companies on through various portals. So hold your nerves, be as patient as you can, and don't lose hope between each round. Whenever you're getting time is also an advantage for you. Could prepare for it. Uh, could relax and prepare for it. So yeah,
Okay.
that was my experience with Traction and Kfin. On an average, both the companies had 3 to 5 days between each round.
Okay. Awesome.
Akansha, in the chat, I have seen a lot of people asking how can NextLeap help them break into product.
Yeah.
I would love to get the answer from Kuldeep for this question particularly. How do you think NextLeap contributed in your learning journey or in your overall journey from Accenture to product?
So, in the initial days of being completely clueless of what is this role even about, like, to be honest, it was very overwhelming for me in the initial days of while starting this course last year December. That's when mentors had their role to play. They used to share their experiences of stories who were working in top companies, and they were very much experienced as well. In generally, product management as a role is not clearly defined as well, because there are like it is very overwhelming. You need to learn right from user surveys to user analysis, their replies, to design, to technical aspect, each and everything. So it is very overwhelming. That's where Nextleap has really helped me with this structured program of 2 months. And the way even Nextleap helped me with doing a follow-up with me after doing the graduation project. I failed it in the first part. I could, when I've genuinely reached out to them for feedback, what really went wrong, or how could I improve on it. And the other aspect of Nextleap is the community. That's where really things would really change. I think that's where uh, keeps Nextleap stand apart from others, from what I know, because there are a lot of people who are aspiring to be product managers, who have already who are already product managers and are trying to level up their career. So there is a quite a mix of diverse backgrounds from people from different race of corporate experience, and as well as students as well. So, and as well the interview prep as well, they don't just leave you with getting the companies right. I remember a peer interview, I had a peer interview, interview with the mentor, and the third round of interview was with a seasoned senior product manager. And for me it was Arindam. As I've told, the first round was complete blank. I still remember that day very uh, fondly, because I right from that day onwards till now, my journey has been with lot of twists and turns. I literally gave up hope on that I wouldn't be clearing it or couldn't make as a product manager this year, considering the market reality and all. So I've reached out to Arindam or whomever mentor and all, whoever is there. So, and I would even say don't hesitate to reach out for help, whether it's on LinkedIn
Yeah,
or
yeah,
it's on Nextleap Discord channels, on with various Discord channels you're on, because it might take some time, but people out there are really there to help you out. If one or two people aren't replying you, that's totally fine. The third or the sixth person whom you reached out to would be happy to help you. So right from being an completely clueless to aspiring to be a product manager to start hopefully starting a new journey very soon. So this has been 1 year long journey, and Next Leap has been there with me, very close me with me for at least 5 months of it. Rest all, it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to make the best use of it and how you want to work on this. How badly do you want this? So yeah, this was my experience with Next Leap
Yeah.
on how it helped me.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Kuldeep. Akriti has a question for Kuldeep. How did you deal with the question around the notice period? As Accenture has like notice period of 90 days, is what she assumes. It can be less as well.
So yeah, I had a notice period of 90 days in Accenture, and uh, so the requirement was me to join as early as possible. So it was 1 or 1.5 months. And I would say, firstly, uh, initially Accenture was not a bit ready for me to relieve me, being because I was there in the project for last 2 years, more than 2.5 years. So they weren't ready. So, but later on, that's totally fine. You could opt for a payout option. I was ready to pay for those remaining 60, the shortfall days. The shortfall days in the notice period. For me, it was 62 days were shortfall day. So I was ready to pay for it, and I have opted an early release in 1 month. And I know these things like notice period, or there are n number of questions. You could think about this later. It once you get the opportunity and all, don't waste your energy on it. You can, because once you have an opportunity in hand, you will definitely figure out a way to overcome these barriers like notice period, or regarding the pay, or whatever issues you had with your the current serving company. Try focusing as possible as much on your preparation for these mock interviews.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Rishi has a question, and anyone can actually take it up. It's basically as a postgraduate in chemical engineering and worked as embedded systems engineer, how to answer YPM after having such like a different diverse background. Um, do you? I can also take it up because I was in HR, yes, and I chose community and I switched my role. So when I was asked this question as to why community, you can always draw parallels in your in the kind of jobs you're applying for and the jobs that you're already doing, right? And a good answer is always that you want to actually try something new, and like change the direction for your life. Sometimes, like when you talk to a few interviewers, you get their vibe as well. So, being honest with them, and if you're actually looking for a pay hike and increase your salary, that is also an acceptable answer. I don't think anyone frowns on that answer at all, right? So, yeah, that's my answer. But if anyone of you wants to go ahead with answering that question, you can do that.
Actually, to my
I
knowledge,
guess why.
Yeah, Atharv, please
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, so I think like if you have any knowledge in any of the field, it's actually better, so that in case there's some company, like if you have idea about IT, again, as Kuldeep said, it doesn't matter that much, but to my knowledge, that if you have the knowledge about it, you could just get some brownie points. Major part is the product manager, but also, so if you have done the chemical engineering, so there might be companies who might be looking for something in pharmaceutical. I am not sure about that, but like pharmaceutical or chemical testing industry where they need product managers. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a field for majorly all companies according to.
Yeah.
So you
It,
could
it
take that
doesn't
point.
necessarily had to be
Uh, yeah, I think he has patchy network.
in
But
understanding.
Parvez, why don't you switch off your video because we lost you in between?
Okay, you
Yeah.
guys can hear me now.
Yes.
So I was just saying that it doesn't necessarily had to be in the field you did your engineering, right? Because we have folks who are from medical background and break into PM. We have success stories of people who were lawyers and break into product management. So product is right. At core, it's all about understanding problems and building that structured approach. So if you can show that, okay, I can see myself building products, I can see myself having a structured thinking approach, and that's why product is for me, right? So if you can convey it and if you can portray it better, then definitely uh, that answer would be satisfactory. And along with what Akansha mentioned, like salary hike and looking for better opportunities, looking for get into better companies, these are all very understandable answers.
Yeah. And also, like you've invested into upskilling yourself. That is something that is
Yeah,
really appreciated by the entire world, actually. So it's not only
yeah,
recruiters, but upskilling yourself basically shows them that you would want to improve in life, right? And you would want to keep learning.
Mm.
So on the job also, there's a lot of learning to do. So that is like a plus point, a brownie points for you for learning, right? Lavanya, has a question, and that will be like the last question that I'll take. I have recently been laid off. Luckily, at the same time, I made it to the top fellow. Congratulations. How should I approach my interviews? So, Lavanya, I feel like the one thing that you can definitely do is start giving your peer mocks and like appear for the hiring mock, which is with the manager, get a yes or a weak hire. If you get a weak hire, please keep practicing more interviews. And even if you get a yes, please keep practicing, because I think the more you practice with interviews, the more confidence actually you get. Baki clarity and depth of thought and the kind of like concepts that you need to know for every interview is with a lot of time that you will actually ace it, like both Kuldeep and Atharv have said. So maybe you can do that once you clear the hiring mock, and you can apply for the jobs that get posted on Discord. We keep posting them from time and again, and you can apply for them. And yeah, I think that's how you can go about it.